All right, let's talk about one of the single most frustrating errors an Android power user can run into. I'm talking about that dreaded device not certified message. If you've ever tinkered with your phone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, today, we're gonna fix it. So picture this. You're at the front of a long line, maybe at the grocery store or a coffee shop. You pull out your phone, feeling all modern and efficient, ready for that super smooth tap and pay. You hold it over the terminal and nothing. Just an error message. You know that moment, right? That awkward pause, that fumbling for your actual wallet while the person behind you lets out a little sigh. It's embarrassing, it's a huge pain, and it pretty much defeats the entire purpose of having a digital wallet. And this right here is the culprit. This vague, totally unhelpful message. But here's the thing you need to know. This isn't just some random bug. Oh no, it's a security wall. So let's break down exactly why it's there, and then walk through the actual steps to tear that wall down. Okay, so to fix the problem, you first have to understand the why. The best way to think about Google's security system is like a digital bouncer at the door of a club, and its name is Play Integrity. Its only job? To make sure your phone is a safe and trustworthy place for your financial stuff. It really all boils down to one word: trust. Before Google lets you make a payment, it has to be absolutely positive that your phone's software hasn't been messed with. So if you've done things like unlocking your bootloader, rooting your phone, or flashing a custom ROM, Google's system immediately throws up a red flag. And the bouncer at the door just says, sorry, you're not on the list. And to really get what's going on now, you've got to understand how much things have changed. For years, we were dealing with a system called SafetyNet. It was all software-based, and frankly, it was pretty easy to fool. But Google has upgraded big time. We're now in the era of the Play Integrity API, and it is a completely different beast because it relies on hardware. The secret weapon for this new system is the TE, or Trusted Execution Environment. Just think of it like a tiny, super secure vault that's physically built into your phone's chip. It's completely separate from the main Android system. And that hardware vault is what tells Google if your device is legit. You just can't fool hardware with a simple software trick anymore. And hey, don't just take my word for it. As the Android expert Michel Rahman points out, this move to hardware-level checks is a massive game changer. It's the reason all those old fixes that worked perfectly fine for Google Pay just stopped working when Google Wallet came along. The game has seriously leveled up. Okay, enough with the why, you get it. Let's get to the good stuff, the how. This is your action plan. We're going to walk through 3 different methods, starting with the easiest and working our way up to the most advanced to get that annoying error gone for good. First up, the basics. Let's try the classic turn it off and on again approach. Sometimes the error is just a weird glitch caused by some old data. So go ahead and force stop Google Wallet. Then clear the cache for Wallet, for Google Play Services, and for the Play Store. Give your phone a good reboot. Now look, it's worth a shot, but for a real integrity issue, this probably won't be enough. All right, method number 2 is for a very specific group of people. This is for you if you're running a custom ROM, like Lineage OS, for example, but, and this is key, you have not rooted your device. You might think you're stuck, but surprisingly, Google has an official, kind of hidden workaround for you. And here it is, registering your GSF ID, which stands for Google Services Framework ID. What you're doing here is basically telling Google directly, hey, I know this phone's software isn't stock, but I'm vouching for it. You just find your unique ID number, you pop it into Google's registration webpage, wait a few minutes, reboot, and boom. Your device can become certified. This is a super powerful and totally official fix. Okay, before we go any further, a huge heads up. This next method is the real power user fix. This is only for people who have intentionally rooted their Android device and are comfortable digging around in the system files. Seriously, proceed with caution here. So if you're rooted, your best friend is Magisk. The fix here is to install a special module, usually called something like Play Integrity Fix. Once you have that installed, you have to go into your Magisk settings and make sure Zygisk is enabled. That's what helps Magisk hide from other apps. Then you add Google Wallet, Play Services, and the Play Store to what's called the deny list. This basically tells Magisk to put on an invisibility cloak whenever those apps are looking, making your phone appear certified to Google. Give it a reboot, and you should be good to go. So now that we've got the fixes, let's zoom out for a second. Because just following these steps is one thing, but it's really important to understand that you're taking part in this much larger, ongoing story in the tech world. This timeline really tells the whole story. You can see how Google has been slowly but surely tightening the screws for years. First, they started moving away from the old, easy-to-full safety net. Then came the rebrand to Google Wallet, which came with even stricter security. And now, in 2024, we're seeing the full rollout of this tough, hardware-based integrity check. With every step, it gets harder for modified phones to pass the test. And that brings us to the most important takeaway here. This whole thing is a giant game of cat and mouse. Google pushes an update that breaks the fix, then the developer community figures out a new workaround, then Google patches that workaround. The cycle just keeps going. The fix that works perfectly today might get broken by a security update tomorrow. So if you want to stay certified, you've got to stay in the loop. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating and maybe a little bit of a worrying question. I mean, Android's biggest selling point has always been its openness, its customizability. But as these super important apps like banking and payments demand more and more hardware-locked security, what does that mean for the future of a truly open Android? It's this fundamental battle between security and freedom, and honestly, it's a story that is far from over.